We are going to continue to learn about Sandra Silberzweig and be inspired by her bright, beautiful color. Chalk pastels can be fun, but you have to learn how to use them first. So we're going to be using a color wheel to help us on this journey of mixing using chalk pastels. I have something that looks like this. You have something on your table that looks a little different. So on your table you have the Elements of Art mat. And on that Elements of Art mat is color with a color wheel that you can use today. So while I'm going to be using this big one to show you, you're going to be using your Elements of Art mat when you go back to your table. So we are going to be looking at the color wheel. The color wheel helps us to look at all the colors and see how they work together, how they line up on the color wheel against each other, how they're grouped. And we can see primary colors in a triangle. So we have red here at the bottom, yellow, and blue. They make a triangle shape on the color wheel. Our secondary colors, which are orange, green, and purple or violet, also form a triangle on the color wheel. The secondary colors are made by mixing two primary colors together. For instance, if I mixed yellow and blue, which are two of my primary colors, I would get, you guessed it, green. And green is right here in the middle of yellow and blue. So the color wheel helps us understand not only where the colors are on this scale, but also how to mix a color. So if I have blue and violet, if I mix those together, I know that I will get blue violet, which is a tertiary color. That's all the colors in the middle. So as we talk about the color wheel, I really want you to focus on something called analogous colors. Analogous colors are colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel. So if I decided to use green, I'm going to put them on my color wheel to show you, and I want to use analogous colors, which are next to each other on the color wheel. I could go to yellow green or light green, and that could be one of them. And then I could either go to blue green or I could keep going this way to yellow. That is up to you. So I think I'm going to go with blue green here. So these would be three analogous colors. Or I'm going to put those back in the cool box. If I decided to do yellow, I would have to decide if I want to go on both sides of it or all the way this way. Maybe I want to go all the way this way. So let's see, I'm going to go towards orange, and next to yellow is yellow orange, which is this color here. And then if I keep going this way, I get to regular orange, which is right here. And I've got three analogous colors again. So remember, analogous colors are colors that sit next to each other on the color wheel. These are the colors you are going to be using today. You can use any of the colors on the color wheel, but they have to be analogous. So if I pick blue as my starting color, I know that my other two colors have to be analogous to blue. They have to be next to blue on the color wheel. So as I start thinking about this in my artwork, I'm going to be starting with whatever colors I want to use for this first area. So maybe I want to start with this blue color. I think that kind of belongs on blue-green. I'm going to go this way, so I'm going to do blue and blue-violet. This is a darker one here. Okay, and those are my first three analogous colors that I want to use today. So I'm going to take the first one. You've got to go in the order that they're on the color wheel. So for instance, I couldn't do blue and then blue-green and then blue-violet. I have to do blue-green, blue, and blue-violet in that order. So I'm going to start by coloring this area in. And chalk pastels are really cool because you don't have to color an area completely in. Because chalk pastels are made of tiny little particles with some pigment in them, they spread very easily. So I don't have to completely cover that area. I can just kind of lightly color and get most of that space filled up with my 3 analogous colors. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start blending. I'm going to massage my color into that area using 1 finger. I'm not using my whole hand, I'm just using 1 finger to do this. And I'm going to only mix up that color first. I don't want to go clear across. I want to do 1 color at a time. And then I'm going to take a different finger, a clean finger, and I'm going to mix in this blue. And I'm going to just lightly kind of mix that into that color so that they fade in really nice. You're massaging it into the paper. And then I'm going to take another clean finger and I'm going to do that purple. Remember, you don't want to spread all of this clear across or your colors will all turn into one big chunky color. And we want it to kind of stay 3 separate but blended colors. All right, so I've got some dirty fingers. That's okay. We're gonna use baby wipes and just kind of gently wipe those off. We don't want our paper to get wet, so I'm going to make sure my fingers are nice and dry before I pick 3 more analogous colors. And I think I want to do yellow, green, yellow, and yellow orange for this one. So I'm going to take my first color and I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the bottom. I'm just going to color that area in 1 color at a time, going in that same color wheel order. And when I have them all colored in, I can start using my finger to blend those colors. Since my fingers are clean, I can go ahead and use this one again. Massaging that color into my paper. Take another finger, gently massage that, and then I'm going to take these 2 and just gently blend them in nice little circles. Take a clean finger and do that last 3rd color. I wouldn't do any more than 3. You're not going to have room to do more than that. So I'm going to finish this process and you can watch me do this, and then we're going to split up and you're going to get to do this on your own.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. All through my city, all through my home. We're flying up, no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine.
So as I was working, you probably noticed that I only used 1 color in all of the small spots. That is okay. I want you to use 2 or 3 colors in the big areas, but in these smaller spots, 1 color is just fine. So now I'm going to add some small short lines and add some variety and design to my artwork. This also adds contrast because light and dark are so different, and that's what makes it stand out. So if I were going to add color to this one, that's a dark area, I want to do the opposite. So maybe I'm going to choose this light yellow. And I'm going to add some designs on there. Sandra uses those short little lines. And see, it really pops because it's a light color on a dark space. Maybe I don't want to fill in the whole area, so I'll put that back. And on this area, that's a lighter area, so I might want to choose a darker color to add those lines into. So I chose dark blue, and I'm adding those same short little lines into that space. I'm doing it in a nice order fashion. I don't want to dot, 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 dot. That's not gonna work. You have to draw one at a time and go nice and slow and take your time. So I'm going to add a few different patterns into my face to give this some more variety and make it more interesting.
So just dance, 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 go. Ooh, it's something magical. It's in the air, it's in my blood, it's rushing on. I don't need no reason, don't need control. I fly so high, no ceiling when I'm in my zone. Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop, stop, stop. Under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move where you already know.
So I added light and dark patterns to my face. I also decided to add a few different lines into my spaces that I feel like give it a little more variety. Or in other words, I needed to do something other than just the same thing over and over. When you're finished for the day, be sure you put your chalk pastels back in the right area and stay in your seat until you're dismissed to the Aero poster. Have fun!
Blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally.